Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we are looking at something very, very old and very, very rare. We are looking at the 1973 release by Dinky Toys from their Gerry Andersons series of Thunderbirds models. And this particular vehicle we are looking at today is of Lady Penelope's Fab1, as seen in the original 1960s television series Thunderbirds. Now, Thunderbirds was a television series all based on a group called International Rescue, and they would be the ones that you would call if all else failed and you were stuck and nobody else could rescue you. It was obviously a marionette puppet television series by Gerry Anderson. And it ran for 2 seasons, and there was a total of 32 episodes. Now, I don't know if that was actually 2 seasons, intended to be 2 seasons, or whether it's just 1 season split into 2. But there was only 32 episodes produced, and there was a couple of movies as well. Thunderbirds 2086 and Thunderbirds I Go, which hit the cinemas, although they didn't really do that well on the cinema. However, the TV series was a smash hit, and the episodes they were about 50 minutes long, so 50 minutes, something like that. So the average time for a child's puppet TV series, and yeah, it's now become a cult classic. And obviously, back in the day, it spun off some merchandise, not a tremendous amount of merchandise, but some merchandise was spun off. And what we're looking at today is one of the items from Dinky. And this is, as I said, this is Lady Penelope's Fab1. Okay, so this is the model in front of us, and it's on the original Plinth from 1973. Now, this was more than likely a shop display model. It was part of a collection, not a collection, sorry, a shop stock that we bought. They actually didn't recover after the COVID pandemic, and we went in and we bought out all their shelf stock, and we bought out also all of their storeroom stock. And there's a lot of items in their storeroom that have been there for years and years, that they consider to be unsellable now, so they just put them in the back of the storeroom in a box, and then moved on to the next item. And this particular item as we found it, as you can see it now, was found in the stockroom of that shop. So the item had never been sold. We believe it may well have been a display model. The plastic bubble that covered the model was nowhere to be found. Whether it had disintegrated or broken or was lost, we don't know, but it was not with the model. So this is how the model will come. But you can see the display plinth is fantastic, as is the model. So first of all, let's have a look at the display plinth. Let's just move the model out of the way, and let's have a look at the display plinth, and let's have a measure of this plinth. So it measures 9 centimeters. Just zoom out a little bit. So it measures 9 centimeters across by, let's measure the widest point, which would be on the back because it's slightly tapered, 8.5 centimeters. I said 9 centimeters there. That's a lot longer than 9 centimeters. What are we looking at here? 19 centimeters, I should have said there. And it's got a height of about 2.5 centimeters. Now you can see it's in fantastic condition, and it's all still solid, and hasn't squashed at all, because of the way it was stored. So on the front of it, it says made by Meccano, England, and you can see the missile, where the missile goes in the front of the Fab1, and there it is loaded. And to fire the missile, you press down on the suspension, and the canopy pulls back, slides backwards and forwards, and the front missile fires and the rear spears fire. It says the product conforms to British standards BS 3443. Do not point missiles at people. Printed in England, 1973, Meccano Limited. Your dealer can supply spare tyres for this model. Ask for tyre sales number 022. It's got Lady Penelope's Fab1. And if we turn it over this side, you can see the rear spears being loaded into the back of the car, how they look loaded, and you press down on the boot and the rear spears fire. So it's based on Gerry Anderson's TV series Thunderbirds, licensed by Century 21 Merchandise Limited, London, England, 1966, AP Films Limited. And on the side here, it's got Dinky Toys, Lady Penelope's Fab1, Die-Cast number 100. And the same on the end, Dinky Toys, Die-Cast Metal 100. Same again on the other side, Dinky Toys, Lady Penelope's Fab1, Die-Cast Metal and number 100. And the same on the end, Dinky Toys, Die-Cast Metal number 100. Okay, so that's the plinth. Now let's have a look at Lady Penelope's Fab1. Okay, so this car is amazing. As you can see, it is in practically mint condition. There's no scratches or damage to the model itself. Actually, there is. There's a couple of little nicks on this bend here. It's probably where it has been stored. But other than that, that's the only damage I can see on this model. Other than that, it is absolutely pristine. Even if you look underneath, how clean it is and pristine it is at the bottom there. And it says Dinky Toys, Meccano Limited, made in England, Lady Penelope's Fab1, Thunderbirds, and sales number 100. And it says made under license Century 21 Toys Limited. Okay, that is the bottom of the model, and it is fully die-cast. So the whole top of the body is all pink die-cast metal, and at the bottom it's all silver die-cast metal. But it is absolutely in fantastic condition. Now the top canopy slides back, and as it comes back, you can see inside you've got Lady Penelope on the back seat, and you've got Parker driving the Fab1. Lady Penelope is in her black coat and her green dress, and Parker's in his brown chauffeur attire. And you can see he's holding on to the red Fab1 steering wheel, and the colour inside of the Fab1 is gold. And the canopy just slides backwards and forwards, so it's a little bit stiff because it hasn't been played with at all. So it's a little bit stiff, as it was when you would buy them new. And there's two little tabs at the back there to stop the canopy coming all the way off, but you can take them off. Usually you can twist them and they come all the way off if you wanted to remove it completely, but it looks so good with it on, why would you? Now obviously there's torpedo, the missiles, the spears I should say, positioned at the back, just by below the boot. You've got the Fab1 number plate at the back there, and you've got the same again on the front. You've got the grille and the Rolls Royce lady at the top there, and the sparkling front headlights, and obviously the front bumper, and you've got the rear bumpers. Now inside the front radiator cap is the forward missile, which you can see there. And that's just opens down quite simply. Just pull it down, and there is the missile. Okay, so let's have a fire of this and see how it goes. Let's drop the front radiator down, and let's fire the missile. Whoa! And that really does fire, doesn't it? Wow, that goes out at some force. And then let's have a look at the torpedoes, or the spears at the back. Wow. They really do all fire out. Okay, so it's obviously spring loaded. There's a little clip on the end, a little ridge on the end of the torpedo, the torpedo, and that just pops. There's a little metal bar, and the front of the spear is hollow, or missile is hollow. You run that onto it, and you push it all the way back down until it clicks. And obviously when it's clicked, it's ready to be fired, and it's just the suspension, the back of the two front wheels, they just need to be pressed, and out it fires again. So that's how the front missile works. Really, really great. The back ones, you've got 4 spears, and the spears, just again, same principle. They slot into the holes and you push them until they click. And the same thing applies. These actually, I think they just push back the firing mechanism, because I don't actually think these lock into place. No, they don't. So they just push back the firing mechanism. And there's obviously one into each of the holes. And again, you just fire them by pressing down on the boot. There we go. That's all 4 missiles are fired. Well, I mean, this model is terrific. It was always one of my favorites when I was a kid. And I had a few of these. This is, I think, the first version that was produced. And then, of course, they done the ones that came in the box with the display plinth. That was a little bit later. But this was the first release, 1973 release. So, but yeah, I mean, what a terrific model. Let's get some sizes of the model so you have an idea of it. So we're looking at a length. Again, let's zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole place I'm measuring. So right from the very back of the tip of the bumper to the front of the bumper, you're looking at about 14.5 centimeters. If we measure across the widest point, we're looking at just over 5 centimeters. And height-wise, if we measure from the bottom of the wheel to the top of the canopy, we're about 3.5 centimeters. Okay, that's the size of the vehicle. And as I say, the functionalities, as you can see, you've got the free rolling wheels, as always with the Dinky cars. You've got the open and slide and opening canopy. You've got the Lady Penelope and Parker figures included in the... That is a little bit stiff. I don't know why that is so stiff. Maybe it's just the way I'm pushing it, because it's hardly been moved, so that's probably why. And of course, you've got the drop down radiator and the firing missile at the front, and at the back you've got the 4 spears that load into the holes at the back, and they fire by pressing down on the bottom of the vehicle. And you can see you've got the sprung loaded wheels there at the back, which fire the rear spears. This, I mean, it's awesome. And this is one of the models that Dinky did actually do right. They did it with the right colours, unlike the Space 1999 ones, which they didn't do particularly well on the first one. They made the first one, the Eagle, that made it green. And also the what was the other one that they did that was the wrong color? The UFO Interceptor. They did that green also, as opposed to white. So maybe they just had too much green paint that they wanted to get rid of on those models. But this particular one has done exceptionally well. It's a beautiful looking Rolls Royce, the Pink Rolls Royce, and it is the right colour as featured in the television series. It's detailed, very, very well detailed, including the figures. And I mean, the figures do actually look like Parker and Lady Penelope, so they've done very, very well. Even the interior with the gold seating is very well done. And the way the mechanisms fire is absolutely spot on. To me, it was one of the best Dinky toys of the age, which is the early 70s when I got mine. But yeah, terrific model. How well did these do? I know you're going to ask me that. Well, they done absolutely spot on. It was a very, very big thing. At the time when Thunderbirds was released, in the 1960s, there wasn't an awful lot of merchandise that was produced. Dinky then came along and started to do the whole range of Gerry Anderson models in the 70s. And obviously, they say this was one of them. So there wasn't an awful lot of merchandise around then. It went from 60s was one generation, 70s was the next generation. And then, of course, it then returned to mainstream television in the 90s and the 2000s. So there's different generations have grown up with Thunderbirds or Gerry Andersons television series, just on those four. Then of course you had his other programs that were in between and afterwards. But yeah, so there wasn't a great deal of merchandise produced back in those days, and any merchandise that was really just sold phenomenally well. The whole of the Gerry Anderson series of merchandise produced by Dinky just literally flew off the shelf. I can remember having practically every single one of these toys in my toy box when I was a kid. Well played with. They certainly wouldn't, if I still had them, they certainly wouldn't be in the condition this one's in, that's for sure. They were well played, well chipped. There was bits broken off them. I know that my torpedo and missiles, I'd lost them. I can remember firing the torpedo when I was playing outside and it went down a drain. So it always sticks in my mind, that does. But there we are. So yeah, back to the point, is they sold phenomenally well, as did all of the die-casts back in the 60s and 70s and to some extent the 80s. Whether it was Dinky, Matchbox or Corgi, those are the three big manufacturers that we had here in the UK. And those models were just phenomenally produced, highly detailed and absolutely superb. And this was no exception. This particular one was no exception. Now, we're talking 51 years on since this particular model was released in 1973. There have been a few later versions, as I said. They did reproduce it a few times in different packaging. And then, of course, there was later ones that were produced in the, I think, for the 40th anniversary, they produced another one. The 50th anniversary had another one produced. So there's an awful lot of later versions of this particular model that was reproduced. But as I say, this particular one we're looking at today is the early version and the 1973 release. So finding this particular one today in this condition, well, you'll be lucky. I say the only reason we have found this is because it was a former shop item that never sold, and I think it didn't sell because it was probably a display piece, and was never actually available for anyone to buy off the shelf. So that's probably why it never sold and was put into the back storeroom, and there it stayed for 45 years, something like that, until we went in and bought out all the stock. So finding them in this condition, very, very difficult. They do pop up from time to time on the platforms. Yes, they do. I'm not going to lie. And they do come, as this one is. Some of them come still with a bubble on them. I've seen them on some of the platforms with a bubble still attached to them. And also some of the later ones in the boxes that have never been played with. So they do come up from time to time on the platforms, but not very often in this condition. You do see a lot of them loose, just the loose models are played with, or ones that are all chipped and battered, missing the torpedoes and the spears, some missing the figures. There's lots and lots of different condition models that do appear on the platforms. You would always find one or the other on one of the platforms, but it is all about condition with these older models, having them in as best condition as you can find them, with the box or the display plinth, and have them on display. It's all about condition. So if you are going to buy on the platforms, just be very, very careful that what you think you're ordering is what you're actually going to get. Have a very good look at the photograph. And if you're buying used, make sure you look at the used images and not the new images, because otherwise you will be disappointed when the item arrives. Okay, or alternatively, we at Midas Touch have managed to find a few of these models, and they are currently available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to quite simply by clicking the link below. It'll take you straight to the website where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Gerry Anderson items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we are uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. And there will be something for everybody. And I am absolutely positive that this is something you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful Fab1 with me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next time.